Jim Scuto, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, on CNN, has on Congressman Michael McCaul from, here is McCaul. He's from Texas, 10th District.
Republican Congressman Michael McCaul of Texas. He's on the Homeland Security Committee and the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for taking the time this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me, Jim.
Lots to discuss this morning. I do want to ask you first about Texas. Your former Texas fellow Republican Congressman Will Hurd said on Sunday that this was a preventable catastrophe and that lack of leadership and lack of long-term planning was a factor. I just wonder, from your seat, did the state's leadership fail the people of Texas?
I believe the state and federal, to some extent. I was on State of the Union yesterday talking about a 2011 federal report talking about this very issue. They had a very hard winter storm back then. They talked about how we could winterize our energy operations back then. It's not that Texas doesn't have energy. It does. We're known as the energy capital. The problem, we're not used to Arctic temperatures like that literally froze the state and the ability of the state to push out the energy to the homes. And that was the major problem. I think it's going to be addressed.
How do you blame the federal government because they did a report saying, hey, you guys, after 2011, there was a freeze. It wasn't like this. You guys got a problem. We're going to do a report. Here's the report. We don't have any authority to go in and require you to have these fixes because you have an independent electrical grid. You have determined as a state that you're not going to have any regulation. But here's a report that's going to tell you, hey, this could be a problem. It may be a problem next year, or maybe it could be as far out as 10 years from now, but you should fix it. How do you blame the federal government in that instance?
It's eerie because in 2011, right, they were hit by a similar storm. And I had Kate Aronoff on last week to talk about this. And she cited Rush Limbaugh and the Drudge Report from 2011, blaming, quote, the Obama administration's agenda to lay siege to the coal industry for what Texas was experiencing. So they're doing the same exact thing, days after Rush Limbaugh has died. It's just super eerie. They go back to the what?
Oh, no, you just mentioned that Rush Limbaugh died.
Oh, right. Am I breaking news to you?
No, that was just me going like, oh.
Just a little warm, fuzzy feeling that you get every time you remember.
Yeah, I'll make sure to mention it a few more times. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing how cyclical Republican narratives are. They use it time and time again. So time to blame the federal government again. Let's just use Rush's old talking points from literally a decade ago.
Oh, well, they're honoring his memory.
It would also be a good opportunity. Let's say you were interviewing this Republican lawmaker to go like, wait a second, can you explain that? How is it the federal government's fault for not doing anything where it doesn't have the ability to do anything? And all it did was make you aware that there was a problem 10 years ago and none of the people in Texas did anything. I mean, that to me seems like a good question to ask in that moment. But that's why I get the big bucks on the CNN. That's why we're just on a streaming app. Not on the.
You gonna go further?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep.